Hello everybody, welcome to my first video. I'm Blue Eagle Politics, and today, for my first video, I'm going to be doing a 2020 Senate prediction. So, I am very good at these predictions. I perfectly predicted 2018 Senate, flawless, and I was about 5 seats off for the House in 2018. And I did predict a Trump victory in 2016, so I would take my word for this. I was advised by a couple of my friends and family members to start a channel. So that's what I'm doing now, so I can show you guys what the politics of our country is. Because I look at Fox News, I look at CNN, I look at MSNBC, I look at those like, oh, I'm a political commentator. They just get it wrong all the time, and they dummy it down. And I remember I saw this one on CNN. It was just them making a path to victory for the Democrats, literally just by the geography. Like, hold on. They were literally like, okay, so Democrats win this. Democrats win these states, and the southeast pass, they win. That's the southeast path. Alright. Let the big boys do it now. So, I will be doing my analysis based off of 4 projections for each party: tilt, lean, likely, solid. Tilt means I predict the results will be less than 1%. Likely would be 1% through 5%. Lean, then likely will be 5 to 10, and solid will be 10 and up. Sometimes, I'll tell you guys when. Likely will turn into 15, but not for this one. So, we're gonna start off out here in Alaska. So, Alaska, we have a very weak incumbent, Lisa Murkowski, very moderate senator, and they can, elections in Alaska are crazy. They usually have 3 candidates instead of 2. There's usually independent or something like that. So, we don't have the Democratic candidate yet, so I think it does slightly favor the Republicans, but I think that this will definitely narrow down as the months go by until November. So, for right now, I'd put it as tilt. I'm just going to go through all the Clinton states. Actually, no, not all the Clinton states, but New Mexico, Ben Ray Lujan, he is polling above by like 20% against his opponent. Dick Durbin, very entrenched. Tina Smith won election in 2018 by greater than 10%. I see some people say it's going to be lean or something like that. Well, no, it's not. I'm sorry. Virginia, Mark Warner is very entrenched. You can just go through here, obviously. I used to think that New Hampshire might be close, but Jeanne Shaheen is polling very, very above. I'm blanking on the opponent's name there, but it's basically solid. It is solid. So then we go. Democrats are at 45. The ones that they need to defend, the 2 ones that I think are going to be the closest for them to defend, are going to be Michigan and Alabama. So Michigan, Gary Peters is raising a crap ton of money against John James. I would say right now that Michigan will go blue in the general election, and I think down ballot that'll probably help Gary Peters there. People are saying that John James can win, but usually when a candidate comes back, it doesn't really happen. So Michigan would probably be about that. Montana, Wilmot Collins is running there. He's running a grassroots campaign. I think that Wilmot Collins is a better candidate than Steve Bullock, because he's gaining name recognition like a snowball effect right now. So I think that it would be lean. North Carolina, very unpopular incumbent, likely. Cal Cunningham, he's racked up endorsements. The primary hasn't even happened yet. It's almost locked up. So then we go into Maine. Voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016 and dozens of other elections. They voted for the Democrats. So with Suzanne Collins Kavanaugh vote and her kind of, not being the moderate voice against Trump that we expected her to be most of the time, I think that she really kind of dug herself in a hole there. Maybe in the future it'll be solved, but right now it's too early to put some of these states as solid. I'd like to, but I can't. Except for Colorado. John Hickenlooper, very popular governor, was expected to run after he dropped out of his presidential race. He's polling in double digits, more than 10, I think 15 or something, against Cory Gardner. I don't think that has a chance of staying red. Cory Gardner is basically not trying to win re-election at all. Republicans are pulling their resources out of Colorado and other southwestern states. It's just, that's one of the biggest trends that we're going to see in the next couple of years. In the past couple of years, Colorado turning blue very fast. Then we're going to go to Idaho and Wyoming. Now, keep in mind, all of these red states, in 2018, we saw so many races turn into toss-ups just because the Democrats could field a good candidate. So a lot of these races, I think, could go into the Democrats' favor, except for Arkansas. The Democrats can't field a candidate in Arkansas because the person they were going to field dropped out, so it's impossible. And that's really it for the solids for the Republicans, in my opinion. I might be missing something, but that's really it. Mark Kelly in Arizona, a shoo-in. He's already polling above Martha McSally. And once again, as I said, a candidate comes back for a second time unless, something's changed. It's basically, gone for them. They can't. Martha can't win there. We go into Georgia. So, what my philosophy is that just like in Mississippi in 2018, there's 2 elections there. But this is in a toss-up state, Georgia's one of those states that's trending heavily Democrat. So, you look at it, the Democrats can run an advertisement for 2 candidates. Like they did a little bit in Mississippi, and they kind of decreased the margin there. Mike Espy lost by only a very small margin there. Still, I think it's a lean or likely, but still, that's a pretty good margin. So what I think will happen here, the Democratic Senate Campaign Committee is racking up money like never before, and they know that they have to take back the Senate, and they have to do it big, because senators like Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema and Doug Jones might not be voting for all the things that the Democrats are going to be wanting to pass. So they are going to pour money into these races, especially here in Georgia, because it's 2 races. So you have a lot of good candidates. You have, potentially, probably not, Stacey Abrams. You have John Ossoff running in the normal one, and then you have possibly Jason Carter running in the special. And Jason Carter ran for governor 2014, red wave year, almost won. So I think that he'll win this race. It's kind of early. I don't think he even declared his candidacy yet, but and then down ballot, I think John Ossoff will win, or somebody else. if it's Stacey Abrams, this race really does swing to the left, because things have changed for Stacey Abrams. She has reinvented herself, and from the governor's race. So in Alabama, people keep saying that the blue counties were maxed out in 2017 and all that, but despite that, Doug Jones still has a positive approval rating. He is a little underwater with Jeff Sessions in the only poll that came out with, which was a research poll for the Republicans, which means that, it's only meant to legitimize their candidate's candidacy. So, it's only a couple points under Jeff Sessions' Republican research poll, so you can basically weight that away. And Doug Jones wins. And Roy Moore, Doug Jones is beating him by double digits in the poll, the research poll. So it would be even more of a blowout if that's a research poll. Then let's go to Kansas. So there's Chris Kobach is running there, and he is in the polls tying with Pompeo. Pompeo still hasn't declared his candidacy yet. I think it's likely that he will, but he still hasn't declared. And right now, Chris Kobach is a frontrunner. Chris Kobach is tying with Pompeo in the primary polls and winning if Pompeo doesn't run. And you look at what happened in 2018, you look at the trends of the state, and I think that this will, favor the Democrats in the end of the day. Now, Texas, this state, along with Colorado and Arizona, New Mexico, Georgia, is one of those states just swinging hard to the left. You go to the 2008 election, John McCain was winning by 18 points there. 2012, same thing. 2016, it swings to 9 points, only 9 points. In 2018, for Beto O'Rourke's Senate campaign, 2.5. Which means that Democrats only have to make up 1.25%, 1.25% to win this race. And, even if Beto O'Rourke doesn't run, in general, with all the Democratic candidates, I think that this does favor the Democrats. Now, Mississippi, another state, it's not as, it didn't start off as kind of a, likely state for the Republicans, and then it started off as solid, and it's still kind of solid. But we saw in 2018 in a special election and in a runoff and all of that this state can become competitive. And the person who will do that is Mike Espy. I think that he does have a margin to work on, though. A very small one, but I think that as of today he would lose. In South Carolina, you have one poll saying that, a Republican research poll saying that Lindsey Graham will win by double digits here. So, some people would mark it as solid. I'm not. Jamie Harrison, in a different poll, is only down by 2 against Lindsey Graham. Very strong. So, Jamie Harrison is running a grassroots campaign. I think that he's going to push that margin very fast, like he has done already. So, I'm going to put that as tilt. Now, in Tennessee, I think that the same thing that's going to happen in 2018 is going to happen in 2020. You have James Macklin, former Marine, who came back from a deployment and got a law degree, and is now starting his political career. I think he ran against Phil Bredesen, dropped out, and now he's running again in 2020. Phil Bredesen endorsed him. He's getting a lot of support, but I think that, the same thing's just going to happen, and it's going to go between 5 and 10 points. West Virginia, the Democrats do have a couple of chances here. Earl Ray Tomblin could run. Richard Ojeda could run. And a couple of other people who are good candidates could run there. But, you know, the incumbent senator there is just a pretty moderate senator for West Virginia, a pretty moderate Republican. It's pro-life, part of a woman's, like, I forgot what it's called, but it's a part of a women's group, so I think as of now that's probably likely. And then Iowa, Trump is down there for his approval, and obviously that will hurt them down ballot. People were saying that ad of the Democratic candidate against Joni Ernst, of her shooting him, was like kind of out, but he is not the front runner. He's not even close to being the front runner. And I think that Iowa is one of the most elastic states in the union when it comes to elections. So when you look at the polling between the head-to-head between Trump and Biden and Trump versus Sanders, which is generally favors the Democrats, I think that they will pull ahead. And in Kentucky, I think that this race will probably be the most expensive Senate race in the 2020 cycle. Mitch McConnell is going to have the fight of his life against the very, very awesome, this is a masterful candidate. Almost won in Kentucky 06, which is a solid red district. Solid red. And if she can replicate what happened this year, not this year, in 2019, with the governor's election, I think that she can win. And I think that it probably will happen, because in election years earlier, Mitch McConnell has also had close elections. So, and then if Steve Beshear runs, which is still possible, I don't think it'll even be close, but right now I'd put it as lean. And do you agree with my prediction? Tell me in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed my first video. This is Blue Eagle Politics, and vote blue.